welcome to The Decision Makers, the show where we really dig into what it takes to make a town run. Today we are joined by Deputy Mayor Brian Headley. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Thank you, Rain.
We're going to jump right in and sort of ask you, who is Brian Headley? Where do you come from, and what perspective do you bring to the council?
Sure. Well, I was born and raised in Hamiota. Grew up on the farm just outside of Hamiota. We were a mile east of town, so it was kind of nice to be close to town like that. Hamiota is a real sports town, so as a kid growing up into a young fella, it was a great place to grow up. I love sports.
And you were heavily involved at that point in that kind of stuff?
A lot of different sports, okay. Yeah. And
but you didn't go pro?
No, definitely not. But yeah, I think from Hamiota, I think the next thing is, when I graduated, I was going to go farming. So I always planned to be a farmer. And in 1980, with the 20% interest rates, that was not the time to go farming. So at the time, I was working at McLeod's in the hardware store in Hamiota, and Dad said, "Well, you're gonna maybe have to keep working for a while." And at that time, the co-op general manager had approached me and asked if I would look at running their branch at Cardale. So I started at Cardale. That's closing in on 40 years ago, and started working over there. And as the years progressed, the interest rates were bad for quite a while there, and I kept from Cardale. I moved on to Verdon and started in the co-op over there. Got into the agro business there, and eventually moved into the agro manager, and then just over the years continued moving up through the company. Never did get back to the farm, whether that was good or bad, I don't know. But majority of I took general manager training in Saskatoon, and then started moving around with the company, mostly in Manitoba. Went out to Saskatoon, worked in head office for a few years, and then back to Manitoba, and eventually ended up in Nepal here.
So how long have you been in Nepal?
This is it'll be closing in on 25 years.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you really, this was your last stop. Nepal was where you...
Well, and interesting because the last two general managers retired here. So when I came here, I was early 30s, and somebody said, "Oh, well, everybody that comes here retires here." And I said, "Oh no, I'm too young for that. I'll never retire here." Well, I'll retire here.
Yeah.
And so yeah, no, it's the co-ops has been an excellent company to work for. Yeah. I've enjoyed the time with it, and I have enjoyed. Nepal has been a wonderful place to raise a family. Just a great community. I guess if it wasn't, I would have moved on. But,
exactly. You certainly had the opportunity to do that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it did. And it was just, this is definitely home.
So you're married, kids?
Yeah. So Tanya and I have, we've got 4 kids, blended family. And so the Adam and Ashley, we have a granddaughter, Isla. Okay. Isla is 3, and then our 2 daughters, Kayla and Taylor, they have a hairdressing shop in Winnipeg.
Okay.
They work together in there. And then Braden is still at home with us in his grade 12 years. So
almost done school.
Yeah.
They're almost at the finish line there.
Yeah, exactly.
So basically your background is agricultural and business, is sort of broadly speaking.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you come from.
Yeah, I had, the co-op currently has 4 divisions. So there's food, agro, petroleum, and home center. And when I went to Verdon, I started off in hardware, switched over to agro because that was still my background. I enjoyed working with farmers. I still love working with the farming community. Later in life, I took food training in that. Yeah. And And then eventually, well, Nepal was the first location that I ever had home center. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it, as you know, because we're in expansion mode out there right now too. So
among many things in Nepal that are in expansion mode, I think.
Is
We're
there
kind of
ever?
a booming town here.
is there ever? It's exciting. You know, last night, I guess it was yesterday afternoon, I was we were going to council meetings and that, and I was driving up the street, and the street was so busy, and it was just, you know, it's just an exciting place to be right now.
Yeah.
You know, you see a lot of growth and a lot of great things happening in the community, and it's fun to be part of that.
So was that one of the factors in your decision to run for council?
Well, I didn't have any firm thoughts on it. You know, I had a few people that had been, you know, suggesting maybe take a look at something like that. And I thought, you know, the co-op has been doing extremely well. I talked to the board and to see what their thoughts were. They encouraged me to look at it, and so when I came onto council, I didn't have any agendas or anything, but with the amount of years of training through the co-op and that, I thought, you know, there's probably some things that I can bring to the town group as well, and I just didn't expect that I would enjoy it as much as this. Town council is run extremely efficiently. There's a lot of similarities between the way that the co-op board and that the co-op is run. And no, I have just thoroughly enjoyed it.
So you didn't have any particular issues or pet projects that kind of really drove you to want to participate?
No, not at all. I think it was just the community has been good to me, and I just thought this would be a great opportunity to see if I can give back to the community in any way.
And you've been enjoying it, you said?
Yeah.
So you want to kind of stay involved? Keep doing stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm really enjoying this. It's no different. The co-op, the last number of years, we've had a lot of projects on the go and doing a lot of building. And with the town, there's a lot of projects on the go and a lot of building.
Are there ever?
Yeah,
absolutely. So you feel like your work is kind of just starting then with the town?
Yeah. Like I said, I thoroughly enjoying it.
And you haven't been involved in any level of politics before?
No.
You know, provincial, federal, anything
not
like
a
that?
thing.
No, this is just kind of your hometown.
Yeah.
Or I guess not your hometown, but your
Well,
adoptive hometown.
Yeah, you know, I call Hamiota my hometown, but Nepal is my hometown by choice. So.
Yeah. Now, of course, you still have a full-time position with co-op,
Yes,
Indigenous
that's
Council.
correct. Yeah.
How does the time commitment work with that?
Well, it's worked pretty good. For the most part, a lot of our meetings and that are in the evenings, and so it has balanced out not too bad. It's nice that it's just Braden at home, because there are some times when it does get a little hectic. And then the last couple of years, year and a half with COVID has shut down a lot of stuff. So, you know, there hasn't been as much, it hasn't been over.
Right.
You know, I haven't found that it's been over laborsome with that.
Right. So now you are not just council, you are a deputy mayor. So I just kind of want to get into what are the duties of a councillor and what are any additional duties as deputy mayor? Yeah.
Well, so as councillor, each of us are given different portfolios.
Right.
So I'm chairman for protection and community services. So that includes the fire department and police department, and then on a number of other committees as well.
Yeah.
As deputy mayor, when Mayor McCutcheon is not available, I would take the council meetings and that. And
has that ever happened?
Twice, yes.
Okay.
Twice. Okay. Yep. Twice I've ran the meetings. And I don't think it fell apart too badly. So, but so with the committees, so the fire department. A lot of exciting things going on there, because just as I was coming on, the new fire hall was just being completed.
Right.
And so that was exciting to be able to do a grand opening for the fire department. And that building has just been tremendous. You know, you think that we have a volunteer fire department, and when they took me down to the old fire hall, I could barely get into the vehicles. Everything was crammed in so tight. I just, you know, I have to give credit to those guys that was a difficult situation to work around in that. And there was no room for anything
there. Was no parking. There was no, they were on a busy street downtown.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, so the administration did a great job on the location. And out there, the building, just, you know, it's state of the art, just a beautiful building. The guys have all the room that they need out there. And so that has gone over extremely well. And then this year, earlier in the year, we ran into a problem. We've got a 1991 fire truck that has run into mechanical problems. Was going to need between $40,000 and $50,000 worth of repairs. And you know, we looked at that for a 1990 vehicle. And so last night, council approved. We have been putting money away for a number of years, so certainly I give credit to previous councils with the foresight on that. But last night we approved a new fire truck
wonderful.
To the tune of $496,000.
They are, yeah.
Yeah, they're not cheap. But, you know, for any community, it's absolutely essential vehicle.
Yeah.
And so again, you know, we have, like I said, you know, I've been out to the fire department's meetings, and great group of guys led by, you know, Eve, and so this gives them a lot of the equipment that they need to be able to fight fires. And I know with this new unit, it'll have foam on it, so it's able to handle different types of fires.
Right.
So that's pretty exciting for them.
Yeah.
And then the other part of that portfolio is the RCMP, the police department, and so along with that, exciting things. We're building a new RCMP headquarters.
Pouring the concrete on that today, actually.
Exactly. So, and so that's pretty exciting too. So those, you know, those two areas, there, like I said, there's a lot of things going on. And then, so I'm chairman of that committee, and then I sit on several other committees, one being on finance.
Right.
So, and I've enjoyed that with the co-op. You know, I have a financial background, you know, working with our budgets and all our operating statements.
I can imagine,
yeah. So that certainly has helped me with to be able to sit on the finance committee.
Yeah. I mean, how similar is running a town to running a business?
You know, there is a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
Although I know administration would say that I drove them crazy. The budgeting procedure is completely different than a business would do. So that definitely took me a while to figure out. And I'm not sure I still 100% get it all right, but like I said, it is interesting. Okay, another board that I sit on is the hand board, so home assistance for Nepal area. And Jeannie Barnaby has just retired.
Just after what, 30 years, I think?
32 years of service. And then Michelle Ferguson was hired and is the new director. So certainly we will miss Jeannie, but many people know Michelle. She's going to be a great asset to that.
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
And it's a very good board. I really enjoy sitting on that board.
Yeah.
It's a good group of people to be working with. Then NADCO, I'm on the sit on the NADCO board.
That seems like a pretty good fit for you.
Yeah, and I enjoy that. Another great group of people on there. And then tied in with NADCO is a medical clinic, so I'm on that group of board as well. And a lot of the similar people between NADCO and the medical, but there are a few extra ones, and just a really good group working with that the medical clinic, the success story in this community.
Oh,
Over
absolutely.
the clinic and that's, it's inspiring for a lot of communities to see what's been going on in Nepal with the medical.
And it's been a necessity just with the growing size of the town too.
Yes, absolutely.
So what is the relationship between the town and the medical clinic? Like do we own that building? Do we?
Yes. Well, it'll be NADCO that owns the property in that.
Okay.
And so NADCO is tied in with the town.
Right.
And then the medical clinic leases the building. And Murray Parrott is
I realize
Councillor Parrott is
really
the chairman
heavily.
of that committee.
Yeah.
So he knows all the ins and outs. But it's NADCO would own the building, and then the
Right, and the
doctors
town is
and
involved with NADCO
leases.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then right now is Farm Lotto is on the go.
Oh, that's
and,
now. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it is fall. It doesn't feel like it, but
Yeah.
it is October.
Yeah, and I haven't been talking to Mary Ellen. Usually we get a little bit of an update.
Yeah.
She is, as you know, very busy and
Mary Ellen is a force of nature.
yeah, and she has, she's got a lot on the go with that right now. We were worried with COVID that last year that the lottery wouldn't do as well,
Yeah.
but actually it was extremely successful. So we're really hoping that for another good year this year with it as well.
Well, I think last year they did a bit of a pivot to being able to get tickets online. Am I remembering right?
Yeah. And so traditionally it was in the spring, and so we moved to fall, and that it certainly didn't hurt anything at all.
Yeah.
In fact, like I said, it was one of the best years last year. If not, Mary Ellen could tell me for sure, but if not, probably the best year.
Yeah.
So really, we hope for another repeat of that, because that is the big fundraiser for the clinic.
Oh, absolutely. There isn't unlimited funding coming through the town for everything.
No, that's
Much
just
as we
it.
might wish it, that
Yeah,
Doesn't
and
work that way.
and the addition on the clinic, that was a huge project, and that took a
absolutely.
pile of money. So
I mean, how many rooms do you know offhand? How many rooms we added there? I know there's a whole other wing now. going off there.
yeah. Well, it's I would say that it would have doubled in size. Thankfully, I don't have to go in there very often, so I can't really tell you size differences. But I will say that I'm sure glad to have it there as I head into the senior future.
Yeah.
It's nice to have.
Oh.
And I think that's the amount of boards and that.
I think
I'm
I wrote
on
them
there.
down just to make sure I covered them all. So, Board of Revision, which is everybody,
Yeah.
and General Government and Finance, I think is what it's called. For the rest, So what does the day-to-day look like? Do you, because people will come to the council with concerns or things like that. So do you go out in the community quite a bit? Do you sort of see what's going on?
Well, like a lot of the councillors are well known in the community, and I think what we find the most, first of all, is that many of the town people will stop you on the street to talk about concerns and that.
Yeah.
Which none of us mind. We then turn around and report back these things prior to the council meetings.
Yeah.
We'll discuss concerns from citizens and that. So that's okay, because then people, maybe they may not know Daryl, Councillor Gerard, or Councillor Parrott the same, but they know me, so they're happier to come and discuss things with me, or vice versa. So there's a lot of interaction between people and council members that way. Definitely for anybody wanting to come in, there's always opportunity to meet with council during the meeting. And so there is a lot of interaction, within the community in that. And then any one of us are more than willing to, respond to emails or.
Of course, and they're all available on the website. I think all your emails
exactly.
are.
Yeah.
are there.
So I feel that we're pretty accessible, and that was the goal that we wanted to.
Yeah. So what sorts in your time on the council so far, which I think is 3 years?
Yeah,
because there's an
3
election
years,
next
right.
year.
Yep,
Yeah.
you're right.
What sort of things have you seen change in the community? And what sort of changes have you been involved with?
Well, I think the big thing, like, there's been so much happens so quickly. Now, I don't know if it seems quick to people around, but the population over the last 10, 12 years has kind of exploded a bit. And so along with that comes good problems. They're still problems, but they're good problems. So administration started many years ago. Colleen would know, I'm not sure if it was 2008, somewhere back, looking at the lagoons had to be upgraded and changed because they were only for a population of, I don't know whether it was 4,000 or 5,000.
And we have certainly exceeded that now.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So that was pressing. There was government money came towards that project, and that had to go because I've said in the past, people come to me and they say, we expect water and sewer and good streets. It's the other things that we're looking for.
Yeah.
But with that expectation is huge dollars. Lagoon plant, $12 million for that.
Wow. Yeah.
And so, there's an expectation there's going to be good water. Well, again, we received funding to be able to go ahead with the water reserve, reservoir, and I think like that's I'm going to say a $2.5–3 million project, of which we received $1.5 million funding, and so that has to be done too. So we have to go ahead with that.
And I recently sat down with Howard Buffy talking through the necessity for that, and it was just astonishing how much water we pumped through and how much we desperately needed that new reservoir.
Yes, exactly. Because the whole town, there's limited water storage, and so if we have problems, there has to be that reserve.
Exactly. Yeah. And especially with new businesses coming in and expanding, as many of them are right now. So
yeah, no, that's right. The police RCMP headquarters, we had planned, so that was planned, and we knew that we wanted to do things with the cemetery, so we had a plan there, an action plan, and then along with that comes floods, following year a drought, and all of it through pandemic time, and it's just created just a huge amount of work. And then, I think everybody was a little surprised when 40 some lots were sold out on the CN property there, and so now all of a sudden you need water, sewer, streets, which is
also happening today. So we're putting some sidewalks in.
Yeah. And so it's just such a huge amount of stuff happening so quick. So yes, it's problematic. Kinsman with the Kinsman Court 2.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they need water and sewer upgrades, so now Davidson Street gets tore up.
Yeah, and that kind of really happened in a hurry.
Yes. Yeah, because it's going to be opening soon. So they have to be ready to go. And so you get all of these things going, and it's just, it's, like I said, it's good problems because it's the signs of a growing community, but it adds a lot of stress to people trying to make sure that everything is organized, and through the pandemic, trying to make sure that product you need, piping and stuff, and that it all comes in time.
Yeah,
so,
and I know things like lumber prices have really skyrocketed. Are we seeing the same in other sectors when we're trying to do this construction?
Yeah, and steel, metal products. Yeah, there's been, Yeah, horrible price increases in a lot of stuff, and trying to secure product
Supply
is
chain issues, just
very difficult. Like,
Yeah.
you know, for years, I don't know how many years, I'm sure for the last 20 years, we've heard about this just-in-time inventory. Well, nobody was prepared for something like this, and all of a sudden, just-in-time inventory doesn't work. Now the delays are too long.
Yeah.
So it has created a lot of problems, but our administration group, very proud of that group, very well organized group, and you know, they're juggling a lot of balls trying to keep things moving and that, and but it's all happening. It's all getting done. It's just maybe not at always the speed that everybody expects it should be, but it is getting done. And like I said, it's the growing problems of a successful community.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of projects going on right now, like the CN property, where it's been talked about for a long time, and then bam, suddenly it's all kind of happening this year.
Yeah, no, exactly. You know, and through that process too, it was exciting to see the new middle school, you know.
Oh, yes, of course.
Built and opened up and that. And
the middle school and the daycare and
the daycare, yes, there's another one. And then you sit back and talk to the school division and that, and you find out, wow, they're full again.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Schools are full again, you know.
Well, especially this year, I think we got that school just in time because of COVID, they had to spread out and use every bit of space in every school we have.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it's just a very active community, and it's nice to see. When I was in Federated Co-op head office in Saskatoon, I had 25 co-ops that I worked with, and it was in the northwest corner of the province.
Okay, yeah.
And a lot of communities there were just really struggling with depopulation, people just moving into larger centers, and so it's kind of heartbreaking to see some of these communities just struggling.
And I think that's actually kind of where Nepal was, 20, 30 years ago. We're close enough to certain places. We were a retirement area. Yeah. We certainly didn't have the growth that we're seeing now.
No, and even since I've come, for quite a few years, there was several empty buildings along Main Street here, and you looked at that and you thought, where is things going here? But wow, just
they're all filling up now.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's been several new businesses. Maybe I need to get Marilyn in here and talk to her about that. But several new businesses opening in the last year or two.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right.